Mr. President, I know that American small businesses can outcompete anybody in the world. However, they deserve to have a level playing field. All too often, foreign countries engage in unfair trade practices like dumping and countervailing duties that make it harder for small and mid-sized businesses to compete in the global marketplace. This is especially true in my home state of Michigan, where businesses from family farms to auto parts suppliers and other small manufacturers face unfair competition from foreign competitors whose products are subsidized by their governments. Michigan's cherry growers have experienced these unfair practices firsthand. In Traverse City, home of the National Cherry Festival, Michigan cherry growers struggled to sell their products after Turkey dumped artificially priced cherry juice into the American markets. And as a result, many of Michigan's cherry growers are facing dire financial situations. Late last year, the Commerce Department revoked duty-free status of cherry juice from Turkey. But Michigan cherry growers had to wait far too long for the government to step up. Small businesses and agricultural producers don't have the resources to employ an army of international trade lawyers like larger corporations and other industries do. As a result, they are often defenseless against illegal trade practices that undercut American businesses and American workers. Mr. President, we must use our expertise and strength to stand up for these small businesses and give them a fair fight. Under current law, the Commerce Department has the authority to start their own investigations into these harmful trade practices, but unfortunately, they rarely do. And that's why last week, I introduced bipartisan legislation with Senator Burr to address unfair trade practices. The Self-Initiation Trade Enforcement Act will strengthen protections for small businesses and their workers by creating a permanent task force dedicated to proactively identifying illegal trade practices that unfairly target small businesses and small industries. Last year, I attended a bipartisan trade policy meeting with President Trump and Commerce Secretary Ross, where I discussed this common sense legislation with both of them. And they both expressed their strong support, and I will continue to work with the administration and my colleagues in Congress to get this legislation signed into law. Michigan workers and businesses deserve a fair chance to compete. And I'll keep fighting to enforce fair trade rules and give Michigan small businesses a level playing field. I urge my colleagues to support the Self-Initiation Trade Enforcement Act to help small businesses and family farms across Michigan and the United States successfully compete and ultimately succeed. Thank you, Mr. President. I would suggest the absence of a quorum.